Hi, I'm Matt with etrailer. Today we're going to be talking about the CURT Pakka backseat organizer. Now this can be a great addition to your SUV if you're just looking at trying to keep everything nice and organized or just trying to keep the back nice and clean. So let's check it out. Today I actually got my car in today to really demonstrate what this shelf is going to look like in an SUV. And really, this isn't really meant to give you a ton of space, because typically I do have a shelf in here which will give me a lot more coverage. But this is more for those case scenarios, whether you have any extra dirty items you want to keep separate from everything else. If you have any groceries that you want to make sure you're not stacking directly on top of one another. Or if you have anything that you want to easily grab in the back of your vehicle, you'll be able to do it with this. And after when we get done talking about those scenarios, we'll actually talk about the specs of them too. So going into a little more depth with the first situation you might face is those extra dirty items. Maybe you just got done being on the creek, you got some boots, you can throw that up here. We also got some tools. Anything that has sharp edges, rust, or any dirt and grime on it, any grease, you can also put here because you don't want that getting inside your vehicle. And especially camping chairs or any outdoor activities, you want to store here too because it's going to have a lot of dirt and grime. Also another thing you don't want inside your vehicle. The second situation, if you have a lot of groceries, right now we don't have a lot of groceries. But typically, if you have anything that's a little more weight sensitive, anything like eggs, bread, or even glassware, I'd probably recommend stacking up here because we do have this lip to keep it contained. And if you have anything heavier or bulkier, you can put that here in the bottom. And for those more situations where you're constantly taking something out of your vehicle, so maybe you're going out and you want to grab your umbrella really easy, you can do it right here. But what I think is going to be more likely is if you're doing more camping type stuff. So if you need to grab your bike pump, you can grab that from the top. Really easy to grab from this point. What I also like is if you have anything that's extra large that won't fit into that little space there, you can just simply put it right here next to you. So it's going to be closer to the end of your vehicle, so it's easy to access that way too. And another thing that goes into easy access, if you have any road trips that you plan on taking with your family, this is really nice because if they need to access anything from the back, they can just simply reach over here. Like if they need to grab a blanket, they can do that real quick. Or if there's any snacks, they can grab that too. But now we emptied this out so we can take a closer look at the other positions this has because it's going to have three. So this is going to be the normal stowed position, and this is going to have more height underneath it. So if you need to store anything that you're not going to be using very often, anything like any type of charging cables or anything for more emergency case scenarios, this is a good location for it. Now, you can actually put this a little bit lower. What we have to do is fold this up a bit, and we're just going to pull on it some. And sometimes you just got to wiggle it to find that right spot. And I find actually trying to grab this when you're outside of the vehicle to be pretty hard, so I actually got it inside of here to make this process easier. And if we try to put it on this bottom part, you just got to match up these holes with this opening. There, you kind of hear it click into place. Lower this down some. And if I want to properly store it in this position, I got to loosen up on these cables or straps on either side. And this can be a little bit tedious sometimes, because these are meant to get cinched down pretty well because this will have a capacity of 50 pounds, so it can handle quite a bit for what it is. Once you adjust that some on either side, you can see it in its position fully. Like I said, this will take a minute, but there we have it. You can adjust this a little bit more if need be. You can see if you have anything you want to store underneath it, the items have to be pretty low or have a very low profile to them. And then from here, you can actually fold it into the last position. That's just going to be pushing it just like this. Make sure you just push those straps in so they don't get caught. It'll store in just like that. Now it's holding itself up right now pretty well, but we do have this strap on the very back of it to give us a little bit more stability so it doesn't fall out when we're driving around. But to really show you what it's going to be like to really live with it and actually open it up from this position, I'm going to have this strap to help me out. And you do have to pull on it some, which is kind of a hassle, but that's nice that it is being held in place well. But you'll notice we have a lot of flex to this. This is bending pretty easy, and because it's going to be made out of a lightweight plastic, that makes it lightweight, easy to maneuver. But if you're driving down any really bumpy roads and you have heavier items in here, you can see just me pushing on this is kind of flexing it already. And if you're having this constantly happen, then what could happen is it could wear out those hinges, so it is something to consider. And that's why it's important to properly install this. So what I mean is we're going to have these straps. And notice how I don't have this kind of connected onto this other bracket here. I think this bracket's going to give us a lot more stability when it's fully installed here. Along with that, we're going to have some straps. And these straps are going to grab onto each one of your headrests and hold it in place. Now, something to consider here is how easy of an install this is. So what I like about that is this is a universal design. So it will work with most SUVs. You just got to get them to wrap around your headrest, and then one strap to wrap completely around in this middle section. And something else to consider is just going to be the size of this. So like I said, this isn't huge. This is going to be about 34 inches long, 14 inches wide, and 2 inches tall. And really, what's nice about the width is it's going to work with most vehicles. Mine's a little bit more narrow on the side, so I was surprised it was able to work with this. But the height is kind of like a double-edged sword. So what's nice about it only being that short is it's a little bit easier to take your gear out of here and put it in. But if you have anything that's a little bit top-heavy or any sports equipment, like any balls, it could bounce out of here a lot easier. In my opinion, I think this is an okay option for organizing your gear. You're going to be very limited to what you can store back here, especially with that weight capacity and how much room it does have. But like I said, there are those case uses, whether you want to keep the extra dirty items away from everything else, or you just need to keep anything that is more prone to breaking away from the other gear. Or if you just want something that's pretty easy to access, it's going to be able to do that. But if you're finding that maybe this isn't giving you as much bang for your buck that you might like, we do have a lot of other organizers on our website. With those though, they are not going to grab onto the back of your seat, and they're not going to be nearly as custom fit as something compared to this. But that was just our look at some of the features of the CURT Pakka backseat organizer. I'm Matt. Thanks for watching.